Thank you, guys, and sorry for not being Indian. It is good to be here, though. I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. I got home from work yesterday, and a locksmith had left his business card outside my door to advertise his locksmith service. All I could think is this would make a much better ad if I'd found it inside on my pillow. I like living in LA, but I run into a lot of tourists out here. Like whenever I'm in Hollywood, I see a lot of Chinese tourists. And what's weird is the swine flu scare has been over for years, but they still walk around wearing those swine flu masks, which is a scary sight for a guy who grew up playing Mortal Kombat. But I really do see people from all over the world out here. Like I was at Universal Studios, and I saw a tourist who looked like he was from Africa, admiring that giant fountain they have out front. And I thought, how would you even explain a giant fountain to someone visiting from Africa? Like, no, sir, you don't put your mouth in there. See, here in America, we have so much clean, drinkable water that sometimes we just use the extra to decorate. And then what we do is we take our spare change. Which is the extra money we have left over after buying everything we could possibly want. And we just throw it in the fountain and make a wish for a better life. And if there's ducks in the fountain, we'll throw in the bread we have left over after eating everything we could possibly eat. We basically take our leftover food and our leftover money and throw it in our leftover water. Have fun back in Africa. But we care way too much about food in this country. I read a study that said Americans nowadays get more excited about food than they do about sex. Which sounds crazy, but that is reflected in the metaphors we use. Like when you think about it, kissing is first base, fooling around is second and third base, and having sex is a home run. But 2 eggs, bacon, hash browns, and pancakes is a grand slam. Speaking of eating too much, I had dinner the other night at Applebee's. I don't know how many of you guys have eaten at Applebee's lately. They have basically gotten to the point where they're just naming their food after the type of diarrhea it causes. Like, yes, I will start with the sliders and the poppers. Then I will have the mudslide. And finally, the chocolate meltdown. No. Make it the fudge shooter. Which I promise you are all real Applebee's items. I was hanging out with a friend, and I suggested going to Applebee's, and she goes, no, let's go to the Rainforest Cafe. I was like, the Rainforest Cafe is like someone played Jumanji in an Applebee's. We eat so much in this country that there's an obesity epidemic, and that obesity epidemic got so bad that there was a reality show called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. That's true. If you haven't seen it, it's this series about these girls who are so overweight that they don't even realize they're going to have a baby. Until one day they're in the bathroom and they go number 3. Which is a baby. I'm 30 now, so I'm at that age where a lot of my friends are having babies. Like, one of my friends just had her 3rd child, and she wants a new car, but she can't decide between a van or a minivan. I was like, you definitely want a minivan. Because a minivan is great if you're the type of person who has to go around and pick up your kids a lot. A van is great if you're the type of person who goes around and picks up other people's kids a lot. I actually came up with an idea for a reality show that would help solve the problem of child abduction and also the problem of illegal immigration. See, how it would work is each week we'd have an illegal immigrant and a child molester just fight each other. And we'd call it Alien versus Predator. One time somebody came up to me after a show and called me a bigot for joking about illegal immigrants because apparently you're not supposed to use that term anymore. But I think really it's the term bigot that gets thrown around too much these days. Like, there's even this stereotype that NASCAR fans are all rednecks and bigots, which I don't really think is fair because I don't think NASCAR fans can help it. I don't. I mean, people who are into the cello are cellists, and people who are into gymnastics are gymnasts. So naturally, people are into racing. Are racists if anyone's still working on it. If you're still working on the locksmith joke, it's like he uses locksmith tools to open the door and leave the business card. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Great job, Adam. Really. Very funny. Adam Yenser, that's our show. Good night, everybody.